Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to be trying something different. We're going to be analyzing the personality patterns of Benedict Cumberbatch, but sharing our takes and observations of what patterns we see after 1 minute of watching some clips, then 10 minutes, then an hour, and we'll see how the whole guesses evolve.
Okay. That is? I think.
Well, 1 minute's very short.
It actually was really stressful.
Yeah, you're like...
I was trying really hard.
All I was noticing is that in other Playing with Puppies interviews, we've seen a lot of people going like, oh, what's going on? Being a little stressed or nervous. Whereas I would say in comparison, Benedict does seem actually pretty comfortable.
Hey, go easy. You may be bigger, but that's not playing fair. Stop.
Jumping in, playing with the puppies, talking with them, blurting things out. Like, compared to other people, quite fast. Like, a lot faster than I was expecting. What about you?
At this stage, all I have is vibes. I'm just going with vibe. Some sort of, let's say ESTP or some sort of EFJ, just off vibe. That's all I can do with 1 minute.
Okay, cool. Let's keep watching.
This is terrible for him, but I can't. Do you need me to have a type already, or can I just like wiggle out and give like a letter or something? Extrovert sensing, maybe? Sensing in the top 3. That's all I can give.
I just remember beta when we were kind of augmenting the voice and trying different vocoders and strains and effects with microphones and different temperatures and pacings. And
He would be very descriptive in how he was explaining what was happening. Just like little highlights here and there.
you know, you leave them or yourselves wanting more. There's always that itch to scratch. But
I think I'm gonna go with intuition in the top 3.
Ooh, I agree. I also had intuition in the top 3. The way he describes a lot of the analogies, or like he tries to describe a lot of things with very rich abstraction.
People leaning on the horn thinking it's going to make traffic move faster. People being trapped in their bubble, you know.
He seems to have some sort of strong, I wrote down the word values.
Mobile phone usage, negative impact of some of social media. Good question. I really could go on. So I will. Dirty tricks, demagoguery.
Very easy for him to rattle off his judgments about outside stuff.
A lot.
People are doing this, people are doing this, this is going on with society.
Everyone's a critic and angry, but they don't necessarily... Save the puppies, if not yourselves. Stop using single-use plastic.
Judging things in a values way, which to me is making me think that he has feeling somewhere in the top 3.
I mean, Zoe I see more of, obviously, because of the Marvel thing, but Bowie, the Stones, the Ramones.
I saw even more examples of him being pretty fast with pulling things out of his head. Like, not a lot of slowing that down. And even when he got questions that he didn't feel comfortable answering, he was just like,
Do I still know? I never knew how to play the violin. Next question. If there was a season 5 of Sherlock, what would you want to happen to your character? Describe a perfect day. Hello. This is a perfect day, isn't it? But I mean, the rest of perfect with me would be private, so I won't describe it.
fast with pulling out the ideas, but also awareness for the outside stuff.
That's pretty good. That's a lot. I don't train myself to that fast because I've learned in the past it's always going to be wrong anyway. But if we have to tunnel down to a type, I guess, yeah, feeling, function, feeler, I guess.
He's fun to watch.
Yeah, very charming.
That was interesting.
Very interesting.
Okay, so an hour has passed. What are the new revelations?
So I think with the hour of clips we've had, there are a lot more patterns to start building together. And I think that's the whole point with personality type, and particularly Myers-Briggs, is that it's trying to type people based on a collective pattern. So how often are they doing this thing versus this thing? Because they can do both. And if they can do both, how often are they leaning towards one side to the other? And so that's not something you can see in 0 minutes, 1 minute.
Yeah, the whole point is to see the pattern, and for there to be a pattern, something has to happen consistently in lots of different contexts. He goes into intuitive talk with
All
every
the
single
time.
question. Like, he's never just sticking to what actually happened. It's very much like, do you see this pattern over here and this pattern over here? And this was really what was going on, and that created this impact over here. He always pulls in the abstract meaning or interpretation of it very easily without any prompting, without anyone asking for it.
And the continual kind of examination of it on every kind of media is sort of saturating any.
I think that's what the multiverse as a storyline is great at reflecting of our own lives, the sort of multiple selves we contain and how our choices affect the outcomes of them.
I actually thought it was really funny when he was even telling the story about the Grinch. He was telling the story about how he really wanted to know about why he's green.
He didn't experience a lot of the joy of Christmas, hence he envies it. Maybe that's why he's green and all the other who's aren't green. Is some kind of exclusion here? Is this racism, or is this actually just, he's just green, Benedict? Let's not politicize this film.
He's just green, Benedict. You don't have to read onto it too much. It's just green, and he's like trying to like mine it for more meaning. Like it must have something more.
Is this about exclusion, racism?
Yeah, yeah, and they're like, no, it's just green. The fact that somebody had to almost like bring him back down to, hey, it doesn't always have to go into connection land.
Well, what kind of prep didn't I do? I mean, everything that he does in the book, I tried to do, whether it's
The preparation,
Yeah.
what didn't I prepare for?
Test run of it. They
Yeah.
pilot things before you get in a harness or do anything that carries any risk.
He was tossing the cards at first, and then after a while he just was not comfortable with
Yeah.
it.
It's just not, I don't like this tossing, it's free.
So he was like,
Yeah, I'll recycle it towards you. Oh, this is so boring watching people not know what everyone watching knows. Sorry, people watching who know.
I feel like there's a lot of outside awareness and quite comfortable with how to understand how people must be thinking or referencing people. It was very much of a shoulder shrug and matter of fact to acknowledge that the Zoolander film, it impacted a lot of people and therefore that wasn't a good thing.
But it got complicated, it got misunderstood, and I upset people, and I respect that, so I probably wouldn't do that again now.
It was almost just like, yeah, taking accountability for that. I'm taking responsibility for that. So assuming responsibility for something that he did to people, it's almost like a little bit of a shoulder shrug for him.
I've had to apologise for that quite a lot, so it's a difficult one to talk about. I love that group of people, and it was the chance to sort of be part of something, but it got complicated, it got misunderstood.
and did you notice he acknowledged, I did love working with all the people. So he didn't want to offend the actual actors and crew.
That was very smooth.
Very aware of how to say things in a way that makes sure that everyone feels acknowledged. If I were to give a guess, I would probably go with INFJ, but I do think to be more complete with the analysis, I would need a lot more examples.
So I also did land with ENFJ, or at least that's where I was seeing it for now. You hear the extroverted feeling and then there is introverted intuition.
For me, it's all about causality. It's all about why someone is the way they are.
If you hear the storytelling, it's how things are interconnected.
However different the circumstances, it's important to understand that there's some kind of origin point that's the same.
To me, it's all about causality. Where it's going, how does it look, the impact.
Yeah, now that you're calling this out, you're right. He did bring things back a lot to these unifying concepts. Like one singular pattern.
Yeah.
Boiling a lot of things down into a theme.
I think it feeds into our understanding of our strange. You see these other characters in whatever moments you see them having made choices that result in different outcomes.
When I finally did get Doctor Strange, he kind of questioned it a little bit.
And I sort of read the comics and went, yikes, because he's quite old school, bit of a misogynist. I thought it's a bit cornball. I'm not sure, but I don't get it.
And everyone can do this, right? Like everyone can kind of think in this way, but when we're looking at how Benedict Cumberbatch was doing it, he was almost like playing out a possibility. If we play this possibility out, what's the most likely thing we should be trying to head towards or be conscious about?
Yeah, where is this role going? Is this a good direction for me to go? If we're comparing 0 seconds to 1 minute to 10 minutes to now an hour, 1 hour, it's a lot better, but it's still definitely not enough. I always like putting it in terms of getting to know someone just in general. Would you say that after an hour, you're like, yeah, I know everything about that person. Like, I don't need to learn anything new about them? Of course not. Like, if it was in real life, if you were meeting someone for an hour, you'd go, whoa, I know them a lot better. but there's still so much more I want to see, or I'm curious what that person's like in lots of different contexts. Years and years ago, people would come up to me and go, oh, you're the personality expert. Let's watch some clips and like, what are you seeing? What are you seeing? What are you seeing? And I would always be like, I don't know. At the time, I felt like there was maybe something wrong, or like maybe when I get more experience, I can like pick it up like in a couple minutes or something like that. But actually what happened with more experience was the opposite. I learned that it doesn't make any sense to try to type someone in just a couple seconds. Instead, of course you're gonna need some more time. And actually the amount of time you need is a lot more than you might originally think. So after some thought and discussing some more advanced topics, which by the way are all on our membership at learn.ericwen.com, Z and I agreed the final thing we wanted to double check and see more examples of was Benedict's introverted thinking. Because introverted thinking always shows up very differently for EFJs versus IFJs.
Her TI is a lot louder. We've watched Benedict Cumberbatch for over an hour now. How many times have we had to write down what he really thinks?
Almost none.
And I think we've watched Elizabeth Olsen for about 15 minutes. I think we could probably write down a half a page of what she thinks.
I have a theory.
You go on.
You didn't even need to finish the question. I do believe that
can't say this
British
is
actors are...
With her, it's so seamless, blending FE and TI, but then you look at him, it's not.
I mean,
It's a pretty good
it's
costume.
a pretty damn good costume. Where I strongly agree is how nice it is to wear compared to a lot of other costumes which are not so nice to wear. I agree it's good. I also think that there are some very nice other costumes because there are talented costumiers and designers.
Of course, I could never say that because there's all these people I could offend.
I've got to disagree because my makeup artist is outside.
Yes.
Listening to this.
Well, he would find out.
And he will never, ever, 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 ever forgive me.
Who do you think is like worse than yours?
Never will I ever say that about another character. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Introverted thinking inferior. Just to be clear, it's not saying somebody can't think or is not intelligent. It's that sometimes in the inferior function, when he is explaining personal opinion and personal thoughts, he's almost like dancing around it because he doesn't maybe want to offend the outside.
I don't know. I'm not a big facial hair guy. I don't know. You better take this one. I don't have any.
I think there's other facial hair that I find particular.
offensive.
Yeah. That's sharp.
Do you think she's the strongest Avenger?
I do. I know there are debates online, but I do.
That was a really
That was
interesting
a
one.
really good-
I know there's people outside that think this, but I think this. That's what we mean when it's like FE and TI is in the middle. It's like, I have an awareness of what the outside group thing is, but I'm also separating myself a little bit. She's very comfortable with every question, checking in with herself, checking what she thinks about it, checking what she believes about it, and then expressing why those things make sense to her.
Whereas you see Benedict, he's always just a part of the outside. Well, there's all these people we need to acknowledge, and here and here and here and here.
British actors are far better at American accents than American actors are at British accents.
Yeah, I've been ripped into for mine on occasion, but if you
And
asked if
generally-
Australians are better at both, I would go.
And I also feel like with IJs in general, there's a little bit more separating from the outside, or at least the outside interaction, so that they can be more prepared and stuff.
Kind of, you've got to
I'm not going to do what you're doing right
keep
now.
well. Okay, sorry.
No, I
That
mean, you
wasn't
can
enough to
do
write
it,
down,
but I mean, like, I can't.
Were we allowed to say who's playing it? Go on.
Yes, Sochi plays.
Xochitl Gomez is playing America Chavez.
He's better at that than I am. I'm like, I panic.
If you are still wondering if Benedict Cumberbatch might be an INFJ, Elizabeth Olsen, also an IJ, is really showing what an IJ would be relating to in these situations. I panic when there's a lot. He's much better at the adjusting thing. Like for me, I'm getting really stressed out about that. If you have introverted preferences, you will want to slow things down a little bit so you can check in with what you think about it or process the information a little bit more.
Even with the rock, paper, scissors, right? It's rock, paper, scissors. And Elizabeth is like, wait, do we do it like this? Or do we do it like this? Like, let me practice my hand motions. Like, let me just prepare what's going on. And then Benedict is like, I'm ready. Like, okay, let's do it.
Ready.
Really, Ben, you don't need to do any of this
No, I'm ready.
for people to see it, right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, what are you laughing at?
No, I'm not.
no,
I'm serious. It was a very serious question because I think
I'm
making me
really-
really nervous. This is awful. Do you want to swap places so you don't think I'm laughing? But I'm worried she's really.
I just think you guys are doing something.
I'll look this way.
look at me.
If you enjoyed today's format and want to see us try it again with a different celebrity, let us know down in the comments below. As well, if you're someone that's just getting into cognitive functions or that's needing help figuring out their best fit personality type, Z and I teach an MBTI Foundations class and a 6-month Discovering MBTI class that's designed to help you see very clearly what your best fit personality type is and get you feeling very fluent and confident with MBTI functions and how the whole system works. On top of that, as usual, you can watch all of our full research breakdowns and learn more about MBTI Foundations on my website at learn.ericwen.com. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Catch you guys in the next ones. Peace. Bye.